Here we go. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
Outstanding. Bill, you ready?
How's it going, Bill?
All right. Hey guys, welcome to Free Think. I'm your host, Shane Clark. I'm joined by you, the audience, a guy named Bill and a guy named Phil. How's it going, guys?
Doing good, man. How's it going, man?
I'm doing well. How about you, Bill? How you doing?
Pretty good.
Outstanding.
Good day.
So,
today.
there's a few things I want to talk about today.
Yes.
And just a few little small topics I wanted to talk about. And the first one I want to talk about is I really hate when things go, like when cool things go mainstream. Like I really, with a passion, hate it. You know what I mean? Because I feel like...
What's the problem about that? Like, why is that...
Well, because people ruin them. Because
Okay.
people put an eye on... I can give you a perfect example. All right, so remember when we were younger, being a nerd wasn't as cool, right? It wasn't necessarily popular,
Right.
I guess. You know?
It's kind of changed over time.
And usually the people within that community were really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Say, for example, emo is another one. Right, when emo music was a thing, you know what I mean?
Huge. That was a huge phase. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a phase, right? So, as time went on, and the new generation came up, and now are the new parents and the new, pretty much the new adults, they took their own political ideologies and put the total spin on things. You can't even read a comic without there being propaganda in it.
There's always some sort of political elements into that. You know, if it's Spider-Man, if it's some sort of superhero.
Yeah.
It can't just be about, like, it used to be...
It can't be a good story anymore.
The villain versus the enemy. Now it's greed and money and this and that, politicians, and
Yep.
they're very, very, very political. It's very
I can give you a
unfortunate.
perfect example, too. So, the other day, I was watching YouTube on and I saw this trailer
Right.
for this thing called Gotham High.
Right.
Basically, it has a guy named Bruce Wayne in there, Jack Napier, which everybody knows is the Joker, right? And Selena Kyle, and they're all teenagers. And they're promoting like this Twilight kind of thing, where it's like a love triangle, and it's just, what was the point of this? They're all kids, you know what I mean? And I shit you not, in the trailer, the narrator goes, "Triangles are a perfect shape," referring to a love triangle, and it's just like, wait, what? What is this? You've turned Batman, the Joker, and Catwoman into teenagers. And now it's Twilight now, but why? You know what I mean?
It was already perfectly good, but you know, stories do evolve over time. They used to call it the White Knight, for example, right? It wasn't the Dark Knight at first. Eventually, because when what's his name, Adam West, when he was doing Batman, he never envisioned Batman to be
Dark.
what it is like right now. You know, now it's actually kind of changed.
He was a campier Batman.
Right.
Way
He
campier
was
Batman.
a happier Batman. You saw some stupid stuff and fighting off sharks.
Oh, the shark repellent?
Yeah. I remember that thing that scene in the helicopter with his foot. He's kicking them down and stuff, you know?
But at the same time, too, that was a different age.
Different era and
Wait,
stuff, right?
yeah,
Different era.
Because the Batman I grew up with, Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton and Christian Bale. But Christian Bale later in life, in the very beginning, it was Michael Keaton. And and the Batman in that universe was darker. You know what I mean? As things got moving along, I've noticed that, like, they're elitists in everything now. When something goes mainstream, music for a perfect example. There are metal elitists now. They give you crap for liking a certain band because apparently they're shit. Because their opinions matter more than the kind of like the music you like.
Right.
To me, it doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make any sense. You can like what you like. It doesn't bother me. My whole thing is just like, why are you telling other people that they're shit for liking somebody, or that they're fucking dumb for liking that thing? You know.
I think we got into a point where you can't have a political discussion, which is very, very sad, or whatever it is, or you can't support somebody because they happen to have different views. That's kind of a problem in society. We should actually say, hey, you know what? Maybe I don't agree with this particular person on this person. That doesn't mean I actually want to kill that person or gouge this guy's eye out or something because he happens to have a different, or he or her happen to have a different, perspective. That's not a really good thing, So I think a lot of things should actually change for the better. One of the things is if you like their music, like their freaking music. You don't have to necessarily agree on every little aspect of what they do.
No one's taught manners these days. No, like, legitimately, people are so simplistic, whether they like something or they don't. So if there's something like really cool out there, for example, like say we're talking about like fucking music, for example, right? Like we're on the topic of music right now. No one can just say, "Oh yeah, they're a band. I don't listen to them, but You know what I mean? They're just not my type. They'll just go and say, no, they suck.
There's only been
Yeah,
one,
I mean,
one little exception with me. That's with Ezeli Dunn. You know, I kind of stopped listening to music. I mean, I know he did his time. I get that. He did try to kill his wife, though. You haven't heard that before, Bill?
To me, so just to give you a heads up, so the lead singer, or the frontman rather, his name is Tim Lambesis.
Right.
And he tried to hire someone to murder his wife.
I think I heard that.
And the whole thing with that being is they still have a fan base.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. He went to prison. He went to prison and did his time.
He did do his time.
Does that make that acceptable? No.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things. It's a hard situation.
It's apology bullshit too.
I guess he did do his time. As me as a consumer, knowing his backstory, I have that choice. Because
their music's not bad.
I love their music.
He's just a horrible person.
I love the band. I love the band. They said he basically repented. It's one of those situations, but we're not talking about political differences. We're talking about a whole. This is a little bit beyond. We're talking about
why talking about this is important is because not liking them for whatever fucking reason it is, someone's gonna give you shit for it.
Right.
And they're gonna for what? Just because you don't like a group. For other people, it's just like, do you like it or not?
That's right.
And if you don't like it, you're a fucking idiot, or you fucking suck. You know what I mean?
What do you have to say about that, Bill?
What band was it?
Ezeli Dunn.
No,
Ezeli Dunn.
We use that
performing with that guy.
Yes, they are.
Oh.
They quit. They became that one band. What was it called? There's another band. Without them, they tried to do without the singer.
Yeah, and they used the guy from Mo Sleeper for that.
I think it was Woven Warriors or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And basically that didn't happen. And Tim Lanzis had a huge thing with Metal Blade Records. He basically took full control of that band. He actually writes a lot of the music too, so that made it a lot more challenging. And the other band couldn't really technically use his music and stuff. They have another band that was on hiatus as well, Australian Death Machine. That's with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's. You haven't heard about that before, huh? Oh, there's a band. They had another side band.
Surprise, folks.
With all freaking Arnold Schwarzenegger memes, get to the chopper, get to the chopper and stuff like that, or get down or something like that, So that had a whole new outlet. It was actually really kind of fun. It's a play off Arnold Schwarzenegger. But going back to him, that band right there, it's one of those things. It's one of my few rules where I kind of haven't really listened to them much. Maybe I heard them on on Spotify or something. Really used to like their band. They actually contributed a lot to the metalcore scene. That was they were sort of the pioneers of that genre. They're melodic and also they're really heavy with a double bass and stuff. Then that happened. Now people have sort of forgiven them. Other people
because he apologized.
Other people are saying, you know what, he did his time. He went through the system. That doesn't mean I have to listen to his music and stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
But I think it's a totally different situation. His situation, he tried to kill his wife. Some other people that might,
that's some scumbag shit.
Which is obviously, yeah.
That's some scumbag shit.
It
so,
is.
like I said, it's not the band's fault.
No.
In this particular case, the reason why I don't like the band is because of him.
Right, exactly.
But I don't listen to them. I don't listen to them.
About his action, though, about something he did.
Yeah.
Right. But when somebody has an opinion about something, that's legitimate, I guess. That's where it gets a little gray. But somebody has an opinion about something.
But even then, the way you say it when you have something when it's legitimate, right? You're not trashing the group. You're just saying, this dude, I don't like him, I don't support this individual, which is why I can't listen to your music. That's not saying, oh, you like this person, you suck.
Absolutely. That's actually a good point.
So that's the whole reason I'm using this as an example.
That's a good example. Don't hate the person who happens to like their music or want to support their music.
Exactly.
And maybe...
They're going to do it regardless of whether you tell them not to anyway.
Right. That's what it kind of makes in America, right?
Yeah, you're going to do what you want anyway.
You get to do your time, you get to do your shit.
Yeah, you're going to do what you want anyway. What I hate is when they try to force it on you. You know what I mean? Whether they post dumb shit on Instagram or they post it on fucking Facebook, and then they go after you like a fucking mob, right? It's like, dude, I don't... And it's over some really dumb and ridiculous stuff. Like, I don't like As I Lay Dying. I like their music's all right, but I can't like the same as you. I can't do it because of Tim Lambesis, right? I don't want to give him any clout at all because of that.
That's one of the reasons why I stopped listening to that. I always just have a little bit of an eerie feeling, like, man, this sounds great. It sounds amazing. And I'm like, he tried to kill his wife.
Yeah,
it just like I don't know. It just like I didn't want to listen.
You can't
to
get past it. You know? And the whole thing is like it's not our job to forgive him, all right? Obviously, it's not our job to forgive him.
We don't have to.
Exactly, we don't, but we also don't have to. But like you know, but at the end of the day, if you like what you like, then you like what you like. But don't hate people just for liking something or not liking something.
We shouldn't attack some people that happen to support his music. Understandably, it's not that's their prerogative. You know, maybe they see like, all right, you know what, I don't like the guy, but I like the band, like their music, like what they're doing. You know, that would be kind of understandable for their particular principles, I guess. You know, I mean, they shouldn't be like shit people because they happen to like something.
Yeah.
But that sort of, I guess, falls in line with what we were talking about before. As far as that, you know, so things have gotten way too politically correct. There's politics and everything. You got your superheroes. And back in the day, I mean, you watch original movies, it was always an evil person, right, facing the calamity. Or actually, I should say, hero facing calamity with an evil person. The storyline was take that guy out. Okay, now it's corporations' involvement, this and that.
Dude, perfect example. Recently, Marvel came out with a comic that features two superheroes. One named Safe Space and the other one named Snowflake. You think I'm joking? I'm actually not.
I've never even heard that one. What was that?
Yeah, this recently came out. You know?
Right.
And my whole thing was just like, can you just make stories that make sense? Something that's entertaining? Like, something that has to do with the good, the bad, and the fuck's going on. You know what I mean? Like my whole thing is just, I'm tired of people just cramming shit down my throat just because they want to. My whole thing is just like, dude, can you just write an interesting story?
I think the thing is, though, I think people maybe on a subliminal memo, they don't even realize they're doing it nowadays.
No, I think they do because they know that it's being blasted in their face. The fans,
but they're so used to it, like the Hollywood writers and stuff, right?
I hate Hollywood writers too.
they're not necessarily. It's so embedded into them. Maybe some of them are purposely trying to give out their propaganda in their media news feeds and have the point, and they do that on purpose. A lot of times, it's such a natural type of thing because sometimes some of these people have these identities, and their politics are so embedded into their identity. That basically kind of what ends up happening is they all their stuff portrays that way.
But another thing too is that along that comes the backlash for not liking their shit, because when you don't like their shit, they retaliate against you like you're fucking scum. Sometimes you just don't watch it because you're just like, this is boring. You know what I mean? Like when they went to give you a perfect example, when Charlie's Angels commercial came out, I was just like, no thanks. It had nothing to do with the actors.
That was actually a really good example of all.
I'm just not interested.
You had a lot of people, like a lot of feminists.
But did you see the fucking backlash?
I remember that. You reminded me about that. Do you remember that, Bill?
I watched that movie. I thought it was gonna be good. I didn't enjoy it. It was. And I
so
was
this is my whole take on that right there. Right? You had the feminists coming out and saying, "Oh, you're sexist if you don't watch this movie, this and that." You had one of the actors. What was her name?
Kristen Stewart.
I believe it's Kristen Stewart. She comes out, right? She's like, it's because of men. They don't want to see women and women of power. They don't want to see women superheroes. I'm like, wait a second. We just had freaking one of the best, selling blockbuster films that came out. That was with Wonder Woman. Okay. We've had other movies too with female role characters, right? It had nothing to do.
Terminator. Sarah Connor's one.
Well, that movie's
it's not about her, but she's a badass in the movie.
Well, that's true. But as far as the ratings and stuff on there, it did a lot better than Charlie's Angels.
Sigourney Weaver's role in Alien. Or is it Alien?
That's even better. So yeah. So the moral of the story
is from Blood Rain.
If you actually Resident Evil.
Resident Evil's another one.
All three films.
Yeah, Blood Rain is basically based on the video game and it stars a female lead and she's a badass. Underworld, another one. You know what I mean? You can literally pull these out of fucking thin air. But I don't really care who stars. I just want to see a good story without having to be fucking given shit for it for not.
You know why that
liking
movie
it or
didn't do well, and nobody wants to say it sucked.
Which
That's
one?
why the new Charlie's Angels.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It wasn't even bad. It was just forgettable.
It just was not good, right?
Dude, Ghostbusters was bad.
the old
the
one
remake.
was
I
actually.
never saw it.
I didn't watch it. I think the director, he came out with his conclusion. He said, "Oh well, if you don't like it, tough." Because he kind of changed the characters and stuff. I watched Ghostbusters when I was a kid. I remember the
original
cartoons,
Ghostbusters,
the
right?
original Ghostbusters. I know some of the characters. They want to do the whole female thing, just to make it, have a sort of a political sort of message, woman power and stuff like that. But I don't really think they actually tried to actually make the movie good.
No, because the agenda takes priority over the story writing.
I was just like, wow, you know what?
I'm serious. I'll give you a perfect example. So there was a Power Ranger, the 2017 one, right, where the totally mixed cast, different races and everything like that. I didn't even care about that. That's not even the first thing that I noticed.
I heard that movie was really good.
It was good. You know why? You know why it was good? Because they cared about the story. Don't get me wrong. There were a little bit of elements in there. For example, like they declare that the Yellow Ranger's a lesbian or whatever.
Of course,
the Blue Ranger's autistic. The Black Blue Ranger's autistic. But to be honest, I didn't care because that wasn't the main focus of the story. The story was the story, right? I don't care that there's political elements within a story. I hate it when it's crammed down my throat. Or if it sends a negative fucking message when I don't like it, and it's a mass attack on shit, which is why I don't like Twitter either, because which is actually going to get into which is going to get into our second segment in a little bit. But the final thing that I wanted to say why I hate when good things go mainstream, because when something you like so much, you really really care about, and you like comic books, for example, perfect example, right? Or the anime community. So I'm a huge anime nerd too, It gets ruined by other people because people like to ruin shit. People are our own worst enemies, to be honest with you, and they pour in so much negative stuff into cool things because they have to show like they're allies or something, or they have to wear some kind of badge saying, you know what, I'm going with the new trend, fighting against whatever the big bad guy is that doesn't even fucking exist,
Oh, that's
based on perspective.
right.
So
that kind of goes back to your main thing. That's why you hate things that go main.
yeah,
What do you mean particularly? You don't like the fact that there's political elitists and agendas and propaganda.
elitists are people that think that what they like is the standard.
Okay.
Should be the standard. They're in everything. They're in music. They're in fucking politics. They're in fucking books. Fucking everything. You will all in any community that you think that there is one. Guarantee you, elitists are in there.
Mm-hmm.
If the community is big enough, has a following and is known, there are elitists. Guarantee them. You've come across metal elitists. I know you have. I know you have too. And those guys are fucking assholes. Because they only like 5 bands, and if you don't listen to those 5 bands, you're a piece of shit. It's literally become a meme now. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you don't like these 5 bands? You're fucking disgusting. It's like, what the hell, bro? You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense to me. And those kind of people, to me, are what make communities toxic. Because without these fucking people, with the community so tiny, you know what I mean?
So you're saying there's like a correlation between mainstream and elitists, and when things get big, somebody out there wants to have some sort of agenda out there to tie it to it.
Well, yeah, dude. Elitists only come out. The majority of elitists only come out when something is huge. You know what I mean? So when metal was big, when metal was small, everybody listened to every band. Didn't say shit, Metal started to become more diverse. Metal is so diverse. It's not longer just a generic. It's become like the term like I use for karate, right? There are different styles of karate, right? Each one with their own individual focuses, right? That's how I equate it to. Metal's like the blanket term for all these subgenres that work within them, right?
Yeah.
Some subgenres are bigger than others, and with like metalcore, for example, fucking huge. Metal elitists are in that subgenre, but they're metalcore elitists. So if you don't, they'll give you 5 bands. Oh, you listen to death metal, you fucking suck.
What type of encounters have you gone on with metalcore elitists?
Perfect example. I went to Summer Slaughter 2 years ago.
Okay.
I went with a couple coworkers.
Now what's Summer Slaughter exactly? I haven't even.
So
heard.
it's like a festival basically. It's like a concert. So,
Okay.
And I went to go see Veil of Maya.
It's in out here in California.
They tour all over the place, but it's usually like heavy metalcore bands.
Was that in Los Angeles somewhere or what?
Yes.
Okay.
The show was right in the Novo, right near Staples Center.
Right.
It was in August, I think, something like that. And I went with a couple of friends of mine. One was a coworker / friend. I went to go see the show. The show was cool. All right, awesome. Except for that one guy at the bar who wouldn't shut the fuck up and let me enjoy the show.
Right.
Because it's like, all this music sucks. Why are you here then? Like, what is your purpose of being here?
Was that the bartender that said that to you?
No, it's just some random fucking guy who bought a ticket to the show.
So he's over there bitching, complaining.
He has an Amon Amarth shirt, all right, which is fucking like really heavy fucking Viking metal. Sometimes black metal, like a softer black metal sometimes. He had an Amon Amarth shirt. I had my Veil of Maya shirt on because I went to go see Veil of Maya.
Great band, by the way.
They are a
Incredible
great band.
Really good band, yeah.
And I was there, and there was this band called Terror Universal. They have the Slipknot thing going on, but they're heavy as fuck. They're good. They're great. I recommend them. And this fucking guy's like, "Oh, you like this shit?" It's like,
duh. Why am I here? Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
I guess I'd pay for concert tickets.
I said what I said.
$50 or $100 to get here. I think I might like these people I want to see.
I didn't even pay that much.
I'm not a dumbass. I'm not going to buy shit. I'm not going to go see.
Each ticket was like $26, so it wasn't that bad.
All right,
it wasn't that bad. But when I went, I was just
take
like,
the time to go out there,
Yeah, because dude, from where I live, fucking the Novo's far as hell. You know what I mean? It's like at least over an hour if you're lucky without traffic. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to adjust. I was like, yeah, I like it. I like metalcore. I like deathcore. I like the heavy stuff. He goes, this isn't even heavy, bro. This isn't anything, bro.
What do you consider? Did you ask him, or you
yeah?
Want
So he likes the band Abaddon. Never fucking heard of it. I just know that the name, it comes from some demon in biblical scripture.
Oh, okay.
His other one was Obsidian. Just all these generic weird ass death metal bands, but because I like death metal and deathcore, I was somehow a punk or a fucking loser. I don't fucking know. Because I was drinking too a little bit.
Did you ask him like why he came?
Yeah. It's like,
then
why are you here? And he goes, I'm only here for a friend. Okay.
What's happening? Well, I guess your friend's a fucking podcast.
You douche. like why would you waste your time like that, man?
So he's pretty much talking shit about his friend.
Yeah, but that's not the only time, dude. If you go on Facebook, which we'll get into in a minute, when you go on social media, you see the cram of all this shit too.
That kind of leads us to our next topic, which is social media and how it changes our world.
Yep.
Basically, that's one of the things I want to kind of cover and stuff. How things have actually vastly changed, and we've actually never had better communication than today. I mean, it's crazy.
But communication in the sense of people
Information.
talking to each other, or are you talking about understanding each other on an intellectual and relational level?
Not that at all.
Because I was gonna fucking say, no way, dude.
What I mean by that is, maybe the correct phrase would have been like information overload. I mean, you actually know a lot more than you ever have today than you ever had before. Back in the day in high school, there was nothing like close to like this when I was there, where you can actually find out, oh, this guy's having a black cup of coffee. The neighbor next door, or whoever it is, oh, he just got out, and some people post everything. This guy got out of the shower. Oh, thanks for posting it.
And guess who ruins that?
What do you mean by that?
Guess who ruins social media? Elitists with propaganda, which brings it back to the whole mainstream thing. You see why this matters, right?
It does.
People ruin shit. That's the whole point of this whole thing. People ruin shit. You know what I mean? Like, you can't enjoy anything anymore without somebody giving a fucking bitching about it.
I think one of the biggest problems right here is people can't, say what they want to say without being ridiculed, right?
Dude, perfect example. I'm going to give you a perfect example right now based on that. Because this is actually going to go into one of the topics I wanted to talk about. Bullying, right here. Mm-hmm. And also, it's also going to tie in to freedom of expression and groupthink. So, perfect example. What's the most popular sport in the world?
Football, in the world.
Yeah, football
Soccer.
technically, yeah. Football technically, yeah.
but yeah.
But here in the States, we call it soccer. Now, I've always called it football ever since I was a kid, all right? So if you hear me say football, you know what I'm talking about, okay? It's a habit, just deal with it.
Gotcha.
So, the two best players for the past decade, over a decade, to this fucking day, all right? To this day, they're still the best players in the world, right? And no one will disagree. It's Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, anytime a news article posts anything on Instagram or Facebook on one of these two, on any one of these two, read the comments. See how fucking horrible these fucking people are. Because it'll be like, for example, when Cristiano Ronaldo, the Ballon d'Or is the award for the best player of the year, okay? In the world of the year, okay? It's the biggest award you can get for a soccer player. Cristiano Ronaldo, when he got his 5th Ballon d'Or, this is a couple years ago, comments, he's not shit, Messi's this, Messi's better than him, better like this, just not even giving the dude his props for an incredible fucking year, right? Because he had an incredible year, right? He went from winning an international trophy, right, to winning the Champions League again for the second time, and a league title in the country that he was playing in. So that's just trophies. But all you hear is all these toxic shit just trying to tear down the player who had nothing to do except fucking playing. Like, he didn't do anything, you know? And it's all because they make them pick sides.
Well,
so you're either a Lionel Messi fan. So being a Lionel Messi fan, you'll tear down anything that a Ronaldo fan will say, or anything that a Ronaldo posts.
That's sports,
and vice versa.
That's sports, like a lot of times. Though, it's picking teams, picking sides.
No, but that's different. You're picking the team.
Right.
Here, that's not about the team. It's about the person.
About the player.
See how bad that is? Do you see how that's evolved? Like, I understand there's like rivalries between teams and stuff.
Now, one of the things though is probably they have a lot of betting. They have a lot of influence on that. Advertisements, this and that, sponsorships, or gambling. They
are the two most paid athletes in the world. Like, they get paid the most. Like, $20 million is nothing for either of them.
That's a lot of money for most people.
I'm going to tell you how cool Ronaldo is. Back in the day, he actually paid for somebody's brain surgery.
Wow.
Out of his pocket. He's just like, here, you want it?
It's been at least a...
He's a philanthropist.
Right? Yeah, geez,
dude, the dude is a philanthropist. He's number 1 on the Forbes list for the richest athlete in the world, and then Messi's number 2. And sometimes it's interchangeable.
Which one, in your opinion, is, I guess, would be face-to-face, or have they played head-on before?
Yeah, they have. For for 9 years, they were on opposite teams within the same league, playing against each other.
Who has a better track record? That's probably a hard one for you, huh?
I would say,
as far as more goals, I guess.
More goals altogether within the same amount of time span in the league.
Yeah,
Ronaldo.
Okay.
He when Ronaldo hit the league. Well, Messi played in the same league from his professional debut.
And one thing till
now, he's been in
one
the
thing
same.
I always consider too that I always don't think it gets enough credit. Defense, very very important.
Yeah, 100. No, believe me, I know. That's why I don't like the Ballon d'Or awards or the FIFA's Best Player awards, because it's like you can't judge a team by one guy. Now, don't get me wrong. Within the past decade, you could give the award to Ronaldo or Messi, and you're not wrong, because they changed the game. You can see them changing the game. It's like everybody is down here, and they're like up here. It's like, and you can physically see their impact on the field, right? But when I get to that is just like they're just doing their job.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It's like Batman versus Superman. It's weird. You're either team one side and then you tear down everything the other side is, or vice versa. You know what I mean?
Goes back and forth.
Yeah, it does. It does go back and forth. And sometimes people don't even watch the games. You mentioned earlier which one has the better track record. Well, take the individual for what they are. For example, I heard somebody say the best thing. If an artist created the perfect footballer, Lionel Messi would be it. But if an engineer created the perfect footballer, it'd be Cristiano Ronaldo. Because one is diminutive, but he's really good at the minimal amount of skills he has, and he can overexploit him. While the other one can do anything. So he's got the height.
So you're basically saying one of them actually is a better well-rounded player.
It's all based on taste. It really is.
Well-rounded, whereas this other person is exceptionally good.
They're both the best.
Okay.
The whole point of what this was like, it's okay to like either one. You know what I mean? It's okay to say, oh, Ronaldo's better than Messi in my opinion, or Messi's better than Ronaldo in my opinion. You're not wrong. right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it starts to get annoying is when they use social media to fucking destroy things and attack individuals. Because they don't attack the group.
They attack those
They
people.
attack the
They
individual.
call them out. You're like in Ronaldo or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
You're a punk.
Yeah,
You're an asshole.
You're a little bitch.
And then they fight and stuff.
dude, this is how bad they is. Like the Messi haters call Cristiano. No, the player themselves also. They'll attack the player themselves too. Saying, calling Cristiano Ronaldo one of the things that the Messi fanboys call him is Penaldo, and because he takes a lot of penalties.
That reminds me of Pinocchio for some reason. Pinaldo.
You know what I mean? Yeah, they call him Penaldo. But the thing is he scores more from the box than he does from penalties. It's not my fault. He can score anything. And then the Ronaldo fanboys will call the Lionel Messi ones Barca dogs, because Barca, right? But it's like whatever the case. Barca is short for Barcelona. But that's just kind of the things, right? That's just within sports for bullying anyway. That's just within sports for bullying.
Well, that's where it gets really bad. But
Yeah.
at least with sports, saying bullying is wrong. Still, they actually
regardless, yeah.
they
But
have the actual.
I think honestly, social media has accentuated it because it's part of the internet.
Well, we're getting so much information, and here's one of the things. So much. Well, I'll just say it frankly. A lot of misinformation, fake news is on there.
CNN.
You're
welcome.
It's a lot of different types of news formats on there. They don't check their sources.
By the way, there's air quotes in that when he said that.
They don't check their sources, right? Pretty much. Here's what I like about these articles. It's not real journalism anymore. It's like, it's from our source. It said this person did this, right? Where's that source from? They never disclose the source, never disclose the information, and they just leak out a story. And now it's always about what's happened now is basically it's like a race to who can get the story first rather than who can check the facts. That's what it's all about right there. And let's have our own agenda stuff. With social media, the same thing. I think it's way too much power with Facebook. I think it's kind of
so with that being, have news shows just become talk shows? Or are they genuinely supposed to be news shows?
I'd say
because for me, news shows are the shit you see on YouTube when an individual tries to fucking actually give you proper facts of what's going on. And usually when that happens, it's usually done through a podcast setting. Because my whole thing is just like, when back in the day when we were kids, how did we used to get the news?
TV and cable,
right? Not so much anymore.
Emails.
Now everybody, including their own goddamn mothers-in-laws, are fucking reporters. People keep sharing articles with each other without fucking checking the legitimacy of the article that they're sending. It's just like, okay, hold on a sec. And if you don't have the common sense to go and try to look for it yourself through a credible source, and even then it's hard because most people don't even know what a credible source
I
can
think
be
some
these
people
days.
don't even care.
No, it's because they're lazy.
Because this is where I go to my groupthink mentality, right? That person's bad for having these type of ideas. They didn't even look up the article or the source.
Because they're lazy.
I'll just post it up there. And it's really terrible on that aspect. I think people should be allowed to have opinions. And people should actually be more open up. Even if person's Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, whatever their political agenda is. Or maybe they're none of those things. Like maybe they just don't like a sports team or a sports person. They should be able to say what they have. Don't attack the person. That doesn't really have anything.
The issue, too, is just like, who are you most likely to listen to when it comes to information? Who are you most likely to listen to? Your friends, right? The people that are close around you.
That makes sense, yeah.
Well, the people that are close around you become the group that you gain all your information from.
Mm-hmm.
You take them for their word. You don't necessarily go out and try to fact check them. Because then you look like a dick socially. No, you do. You kind of look like a dick socially. Because it's like, oh, you don't trust me? You don't fucking believe me, dude? It's like, you think I'm just trying to give you shit for no reason? Then that's when the groupthink mentality comes into play, where you start getting complacent for not questioning shit.
That's another thing. I mean, people should
think about it. Bill, perfect example. You and I, we've been fucking friends for over a decade, right? Friends for over a fucking decade. I've known you for so fucking long. Do we agree on everything?
Oh, no way.
No, we don't, right? The group of friends that we hang out with, do we hang out with them all in one go, or do we hang out in little pieces? And do we cycle them out?
Oh, almost every day we're different people.
Exactly. You see that? We're always with different people. The majority of people aren't like that. They take their own little group of friends. They most likely agree with them for the most part, and then they they get onto a topic and then they agree. And if they don't, depending on the severity of the topic, how charged it is with individuals, they start to form their own individual opinions. With that, if they conflict, they'll stop hanging out with them, like a little small doses.
Some people nowadays, it's really sad. Like even dating or whatever type of situation you're in, that have a different political perspective.
Yeah,
I don't like this person. He has different thoughts than I do. It's kind of really kind of childish in a lot of ways. I think
who you hang out with affects your mentality. Is basically what I'm saying.
It extends your online presence too.
Yeah, and it bleeds into your online presence too.
So I think a lot of people now are like afraid to post whatever they want to post. And
Dude, perfect example on my Facebook feed, right?
Mm-hmm.
I literally had a guy on Facebook say, "Can you stop posting dumb shit about this?" And it was about the coronavirus because people that's all people post about, which it gets annoying because it's like, okay, we fucking know, all right, we know what's going on.
We know about the coronavirus.
Yeah, we don't need to hear it for like the 10th millionth time, okay? Like we get it. Shit is going wrong, okay? We understand. You're not helping.
So wait, somebody was telling you?
No. He posted it on Facebook to talk to everybody within him. I just happened to be friends with him.
Oh, so you're telling him to stop posting that?
No. He said it to everyone on his Facebook page, on his Facebook feed. Can you stop posting dumb shit, please? You know what I mean? My whole thing was just like, you're part of that. you feed the beast. How often do I post shit?
To be honest, I don't think I've seen too many posts.
Exactly. Why? Because I don't like being dumb. Unless I have something important to say that's actually necessary. What the fuck does anybody need to hear what I post about when everybody already talk about the same shit? I don't have any new information to add onto the topic. So I don't need to say anything.
Well, I think some people assume that that's being news transferred to their friends and stuff. Because,
not like Facebook does it already for you anyway.
It does. Facebook, I think, I've always been kind of, with that company, I've always been kind of more inside of private business, keep out of and stuff. But one of the exceptions with Facebook is because it kind of entails the entire planet, and especially in the United States, where they have so much control. We have these companies. We're giving Google. Think about this. It's basically a monopoly. You can't really compete against Google nowadays, or
not anymore. Yahoo used to be up there.
I think we should actually think about possibly saying, hey, you know what? And I hate regulation, just my mentality. But I'm kind of going against my natural instinct. But you know what? If we're going to have freedom of speech being challenged, people being silenced and stuff about what they believe, we should probably think about some censorship on Facebook
and hashtag had this fucking problem. Hashtags. The whole cancel bullshit came because of fucking hashtags. It was at the height of everything.
Yeah.
Because before when people weren't necessarily silenced, and not to the point where it's like, because people try to attach themselves to a movement, and hashtags, when they started doing, for example, hashtag pencils down, that became a movement now. And that's from today. That's like telling comic book writers, we don't fucking need your money, trying to shut them down. Yeah, hashtags create movements. Well, for example, hashtag me too.
I was just
everything with a hashtag has created some sort of fucking movement. Before the fucking hashtag was a thing, nobody gave a fuck. You handled your own
That's
shit.
where it goes by Twitter, because Twitter is kind of like a place, unlike Facebook.
Twitter's a cesspool.
It's just basically bowling, talking shit.
Twitter's a cesspool. It's fucking disgusting.
I don't really even use my account.
I don't have one.
You're a smart man. But I think I do like the fact that you're able to, kind of hear people's thoughts in real time.
Twitter is just basically Facebook, but with character limits. It's the same thing.
I would say a little bit of different spin on that is because on Twitter, I don't think you're generally talking to friends on there as much. That's more for like the public sphere, and Facebook has your friends
because it's only a posting thing.
That's what I mean.
Facebook, but that's all Facebook for the majority of what it is. It's
right.
Facebook. It's just to post shit. It's not necessarily to interact with anybody. It's just to fucking post shit. Well, and for me, it's just like, yeah, sure. There's cool things about it, but at the same time too, again, too many fucking people when something in popularity blows up. Who's there to ruin it? Fucking people. People ruin shit. No, okay. There is something I want to talk about, though. You're right. before when you said it raised human communication.
It did
But I think interaction was probably a better word for that.
That's that's even actually better. That's what I meant, because I don't think people actually communicate on there.
No, because for me, real communication is when you get down to the intellectual and the emotional points.
When you actually have a dialogue, and when you're doing your debates,
yes.
or maybe you're having a concession, or maybe you're not even trying to debate people, you're just trying to understand their point of view.
Yeah.
People don't try to do that anymore. If you have a different opinion, they try to shut you down. I love debating. I love that. I've always enjoyed that. Used to do that a lot more in the past. Now I kind of just, sit on the sidelines a little bit more. But occasionally I do have my debates. It's fun. However,
for you, because you actually have facts.
Right, I have to. I like to say something about it. But it's always been. I don't know. I've always kind of been into debates. I've always been fascinated by it. But it kind of changed where now it's not a debate. It's an attack on that person. Fuck you for you thinking this way. Mm-hmm. You're wrong. I'm right. And the story. I don't give a shit about your opinion. That's basically the whole mentality of Facebook these days. If you don't agree with my agenda, which is where I go by scary about groupthink mentality. The whole society of America would be much better if every person had their own thoughts and weren't brainwashed by one group or another group. They stuck to their own agenda. That would be a lot better, because we need to have more independent thought, in my opinion.
I do believe that there should be more independent thought, but having everybody be independent thinkers, nothing gets done.
I'm not saying.
No. I know what you're saying, but I'm just saying that if everybody is a free thinker, which they should be to an extent, but if they're all individuals thinking their own little things, nothing's going to get done. There should be a little bit small a group think, a little bit within a controlled amount. It shouldn't be all individuals for themselves, because I feel like everyone's just going to look out for themselves. Not like they don't do that anyway, but
you can have
it too, but I'm not saying you can't have groupthink. What I think would be better is if it was in a small condensed dose.
You can have individual. Oops, can't say that word right now. I was gonna try.
You can have individualism within the group.
Thank you. Yeah, individual.
That's what you're trying to say, right?
Right.
Okay.
Well, not even that. You can actually think about what would be better for society, but think independently. What I mean by that, I'm not saying don't always conform. If you agree with somebody, right? If I agree with you or Bill over here, if I agree with you guys, I'm basically, that's fine. I can say, hey, I agree, but that's not groupthink. Groupthink is basically when I'm not using any of my own intuitions or my own intelligence when I do the research of the facts right at hand. What groupthink means is I think what you're thinking I was thinking about originally. Groupthink isn't where I'm not agreeing with anybody. No, it is agreeing with people, but it's agreeing on your own merits and your own truth.
That's not what I said. I think groupthink, what it is when you all combine under one single idea. And it's not just one idea, because one idea can break down into a million things, but it starts out with that.
This is my definition.
And you go with the flow instead of questioning or adding anything new.
My definition of groupthink.
Pretty much a zombie.
All cops are, for example, all cops are bad. All right. There's a group that says that, and now people are chanting all cops are bad. Now somebody comes in there, I agree with you, all cops are bad. This is just a dumb example. However, the other person didn't do any of their thoughts on their own, any type of research or anything like that. They just propped that up, right? So, what I'm saying is, groupthink is not a good idea. It's actually what would be better is if everybody came to their own conclusions and said, hey, and this one person could say, okay, yes, my experience, a lot of police officers, based on this, they're bad for this reason. However, I do know some good stuff happening, or whatever it is.
You know what you're describing, right?
What am I describing?
Absolution.
It's
either right or you're wrong. It's either right or wrong. It's black and white here. It's never, maybe there's some grayness in here. Over every topic, you're either on one side or the other. That's what you're describing right now. Because nobody does the research to see, here, this number is incredibly fucking high. For example, for shooting.
That's my definition of absolutism. Is groupthink by definition.
Absolutism.
Absolutism
is part of groupthink.
Right.
It's not the whole concept.
That's a huge problem right now too, because we have all these things going on. This person's a bad person because they said this or they did that. However, you should actually, society would be better off, and that's my
Well,
problem.
even when somebody's vindicated, this shit goes weird.
They
No, I'm serious.
don't want to believe the truth or the facts a lot
Exactly,
of times.
because because the whole group in general condemn the person.
All right, so we're
But
talking.
it does have its merits though, where I feel like social media has changed the landscape of things. Specifically, has been business. Because you can form Facebook is. Let me use Facebook as a perfect example. Facebook has made it easier to form business models through. Not business models, but form businesses with individuals that have by posting ads and stuff. Be like, hey, I'm looking for this, this, and this. And then with pages to advertise your shit more. So now you no longer need to buy commercials on TV anymore. Facebook advertises your stuff because you have a page now. You know what I mean?
So that's we did cover a lot of the negative type of stuffs. However, going back
That's a positive thing, actually.
No, that's what I'm trying to say. That's a positive. Small businesses have actually never been easier for you and I.
Yeah, because they would have
or
they would
anybody.
have to they would have to pay
if you
for
want to create a
active.
business. Anybody that wants to create their own business, today is like the best time in the world, because now, back in the day, you used to have to be a huge company or
And buy ad space.
have a lot of resources. You had to talk to this person, that person, this person. Now you can just kind of just talk to the corporate guy if you want to. Send them a freaking email or create a freaking movement on Facebook. Maybe you can have like some sort of a campaign or something like that, and that happens. That's one of the good examples. Have you heard of Soda Surge? Surge is a really good example. What about you, Bill? Have you heard of Surge before? Do you remember that soda?
Oh yeah.
1999, 2000, it finally came back. It last maybe 5 or 7 years ago. Finally, what happened was this one guy started this website, wanted to bring back Surge, and then two other people came back. He had somebody on Facebook and some other.
I was in that group.
You were
still in that group.
Me too, as well. Yeah. That all happened because these guys got together. Now, it wasn't for business, but it's for agenda. And this was kind of interesting about how, when I was saying, social media has changed the landscape, because 3 individuals, the one in the freaking soda that went away, disappeared, something happened with the marketing in 2000, right? They actually ended up having this following of people that they're like, I miss that damn Soda Surge. Now, if you guys don't know what Surge is, it's kind of like Mountain Dew, but it's a Coke brand version of it. I would say it's a little sweeter. That's how
Diabetes in a can.
yeah, it definitely is.
Slightly higher.
One of my
caffeine
favorite
count.
sodas. Now it's actually at Burger King in some places. They actually have Surge.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
And then
You'll
some
No,
places,
do it. It's amazing.
die.
and
You
some
will,
places
but it'll be
actually
worth it.
they have vendors, and I think it's more on the East Coast and stuff like that. Not in California, but they have certain places. But for the very first time, they talked to Coke. They actually got money funding for billboard by Coke headquarters. Finally, what happened is they had surgeries, and eventually they did a niche market. For the very first time, they sold it on Amazon exclusively for the longest time. The power of social media brought back a freaking soda. That's pretty cool. So there's like a lot of cool stuff.
It also allows you to connect with people that you have common interests with.
That's another great thing too. You can
That's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. That's one of those things where it's
because now you can isolate people that don't agree with you.
Yep, exactly. And then no new ideas can be formed.
Right.
And you're kind of that's basically what Twitter has become. You know what I mean? But like I said, it also has its good things, because you guys can end up making more friends in different groups based on what your hobbies or whatever you like. So that's another thing too. And Instagram allows you to pretty much, I would say, it's another advertising tool.
Owned by Facebook.
Yeah, owned by Facebook. But it is what it is too. But there's also Kik too. It's kind of like a messenger app, but you can send stuff. Social media has done good. I'm not saying it hasn't, but people ruin shit.
Well, the problem I have is with Facebook and companies like Google, who owns YouTube, taking people's videos down, having censorship.
So with YouTube thing, YouTube has dramatically changed. Because YouTube used to be about a whole bunch of other funny shit. People would just pirate things and put them on YouTube, but it would be random shit. It was not about news.
No, not at all.
What has it become now?
It's become.
You see nerd shit. You see a lot of nerdy shit, right?
Right.
People talking about comic books and stuff like that. Going that
information,
like how-tos, what's actually going on in the world as news. People actually get paid on YouTube. YouTubers get paid for actually doing shit. Yeah, exactly. For like Philip DeFranco, he gets paid by the people because YouTube obviously has a lot of fucking dumb shit because they're on an agenda too. They just want, and they'll fucking admit it, and we all know that they're on an agenda, you know. But
I don't know how much YouTube has changed. Remember that Philip DeFranco started as Sexy Phil.
Yeah, no, realistic. Yeah, I remember. Another thing too, it's also created a new way to get money.
And now the whole platform's centered around it.
Yep.
All about advertising.
Social influencer is now a job.
You guys remember Bill de Blasio? That was so funny. Did you guys see some of the news articles that came out? How he actually wanted to pay people to do a campaign for him if they said something nice about him on social media. Did you guys catch that story?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, that's pretty funny. That's how crazy it's become.
I was like, really, bro?
You're that rich, you can pay somebody out.
Wow.
But going back to that, that's the power of freaking social media right there.
Yeah.
Has been used, in politics nowadays, especially. Congressmen, the president, all these people using social media as the very first platform to be able to get their message across. So,
and depending on what you like, they'll recommend you shit, which is
true.
Also a good thing and a bad thing.
Recommend propositions.
Recommend other Facebook pages you could like, other fucking videos you might enjoy, which also it has its good points and its bad points. It's weird. It's never one or the other. There's problems with both based on the perspectives of how you're looking at it. You know,
right?
And which is huge. Social media has done positive things within the world. Like I said, it's helped small businesses give a fighting fucking chance.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Including bands, musicians too. You know, it's giving them a great chance. YouTube has done the same. It helps get people's music out there. You know what I mean? Which is really good. Another thing too, like you mentioned before, it helps with politics. Helps you tell you who's fucking running, who the fuck is known. Because, dude, let's be realistic here. Our generation has probably the smallest amount of voters in probably history, because it just keeps getting smaller as time goes by. Let's be realistic.
We're talking about the population. Or we're talking about specifically
for the presidency, for example.
Voter turnout.
To actually vote. It's smaller. It gets smaller every election. It really does. You can see it.
Well, I mean, that is an interesting question. How does that happen when you have more population than ever before? Right, it's grown
because people are dude. Perfect example, right?
And
are you a registered voter?
I am.
I'm also a registered voter. Bill, are you a registered voter?
I am not.
See?
Why don't you register voter, Bill?
Every time I've sent in my application, they've turned it in and said my handwriting was illegible.
So you actually tried to have you ever tried to just go down to the DMV and get it done?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me stay around right now.
But just to give you an example, right? Out of the three of us, one of us is not a registered voter.
Isn't that crazy?
And now imagine if all of us were all together, right? Everybody in the building, we're all in one room. By a show of hands, who do you think would be a registered voter? And who actually votes? Because some people just flat out deny to vote because they feel like they're boycotting the whole thing, right? But it's like social media already gives you the opinion to do stuff, you know. So you don't actually have to go out there and vote, but you fucking should. You know what I mean? You can't change anything if you're not proactive, right?
I know it's kind of cynical, but sometimes I look at what some people post. I'm like, man, you probably shouldn't be voting. I mean, as messed up as un-American as it sounds, sometimes I'm just like, man, I know maybe we should have a freaking task or we're talking about the presidency, or we're talking about somebody here in charge. Would be maybe, but that would be kind of wrong, and that would be But I have thought about that before.
No, dude, it's not wrong. It's okay. Like I've seen some people post some dumb shit. Like, did your mom smoke paint thinner when she was pregnant?
You're gonna freaking vote for the country and stuff?
Did the best part of you was the best part of you left on the shit stain on the couch when your mom gave birth to you? Like there are certain things like that I think about. You're just like, bro, what the fuck? Who are you? I totally understand, but they should vote anyway.
Right, correct. Because
they should vote anyway.
Absolutely right.
Because if you don't vote, you don't change shit, so you shouldn't say shit. You know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong, you're entitled to an opinion. But in all actuality, my whole thing is just like, social media gives you an opportunity to help you do that. Because it tells you, hey, time's coming up to vote. Get on your shit, you know?
Well, that's actually what's kind of interesting now. Question from the audience to our elected officials. That's something that's kind of modern times. I mean, back in the day, when Abraham Lincoln was running, it was just out, and people congregated, and then news just spread basically by word of mouth, pretty much. I don't even think there probably was, some papers back then, but some writings there was, but there wasn't like anything like we have now today, where it was televised and all this type of stuff, where you'd watch on your phone. That's all. So yeah, it's kind of weird, I think. But one of the reasons why I think people are not voting as much is because they're just overwhelmed with too much information overload. How can you focus on that? And a lot of times you can't. All your understanding about your neighbors. Yeah. If you're into sports, you're having that. You're having so many things happening cycling at once, and a lot of people just don't. And actually, politics isn't interesting for everybody. Some people find it very, very, very boring.
Dude, it can be.
And
the vice presidential debate was boring as fuck. Remember? That thing was a snooze fest. When Mike Pence was...
watch it.
I didn't know what happened.
It was with him, Mike Pence versus what's that other guy's name? It was running
I can't remember his name either. That's how boring it was.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That we don't even fucking know. It was that bad. Like, it was horrible. Politics can be like that, just like baseball can. Any sport can be boring. Politics can too. There's nothing in the world that's not boring. Okay? At least to a certain extent, or for whatever the case may be, But at the same time too, like, the cool thing is you didn't actually have to sit at home to watch the whole thing. Facebook has snippets, so you can catch the main topics to watch them.
That's true, yeah.
And YouTube does too.
That's actually...
And you can search key points, The only difference is you have to make sure that the person doesn't take somebody out of context, and that's another thing too. People dominate social media, that they have control over what's posted or not to an extent, because you can edit shit. Mostly everybody these days can edit something and totally spin it and make groupthink.
They take things out of context.
Or perfect example. Recently, there was a podcast that featured Keemstar. I'm not a fan of that guy. That guy's a dick. But he had FaZe Banks on there, and he had this guy, the clown. Some clown guy. I can't remember his name, his actual name, but they call him Clown. He's an English guy. And they had FaZe Banks' friend on there, right? FaZe Banks' friend asked for like 2 minutes to be cut out. You know what the controversy was? They cut out 30 minutes of collected material of what the clown guy said. And when they posted the video, it makes it sound like the clown guy was just grilling the dude the whole time.
But he wasn't.
There's 30 minutes. Of course
he wasn't.
Yeah, because they took him out of context by editing shit. Now, I heard the whole podcast in its entirety. You could hear when they cut him out. When they drop... Because when you say something, right? When you say something, if you cut half the fucking sentence, it's a new sentence now. Which means it's a new meaning behind it, right? So, it's social media has some really good positive influences and impacts. But again, how this whole fucking thing goes around, at the end of the day, people ruin shit. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. That's fact. People ruin everything. You know what I mean?
Well, one of the things I hope we figure this out, we need to have, I think, government intervention. When you have first of all, Facebook, Google, it's a monopoly. Okay, they take total control of, and that's not really good to have that type of power. That these companies are too big, too powerful. They need to be broken up, anyways. Secondly, when the majority of public are on these platforms and stuff, and then they try to censor, you can say this, but you can't say that. That's a problem, and a lot of people don't realize it. But that's a civil liberty being taken away. People don't even realize we give all these companies all this information, but if you can't have your say whatever you want, even if it's my opinion, I'm a little more, I guess, libertarian on this type of front. I'm saying, hey, you know what? I don't care what it is, even if it's the most sinister thing in the world. as long as you're not threatening somebody, you should be able to say whatever it is that you want to say.
So, just to end on this note, I'm neither libertarian or conservative. I'm individualistic. So I pick one point at a time. And that's basically it for me.